This is Crowmar with TGN, welcoming you to another World of Warcraft Cataclysm beta video. This is Chimaeron, the boss of Blackwing Descent. Now, this encounter has actually been buffed very recently, actually just a couple days ago. And what they did was they significantly increased its melee damage, and guilds and groups who had no problem doing it before with a more standard tank strategy are suddenly struggling to do it. Now, thanks to the changes, this is a very fun and very intense fight, although it still has a couple of buggy issues we will be going over in detail here. But it's still very fun. It's extremely intense on the healing and the tanks. The tanks have the hardest job, arguably, although the healings have a pretty difficult job too. And it comes with a mechanic that's new, at least it's new to me. I'm not familiar with it, unless there's a boss I'm not thinking of that has this mechanic maybe. But there's this little robot running around the room. He sprays this stuff on you called Finkle's mixture. And when it's up, it's that puddle of goo you see on the floor. And when it's up, it actually makes you immune to death as long as you have more than 10,000 health. So if you have 10,001 health and you get hit for 10 million, it just reduces your health to 1. But then if you get hit again, you die. If you have below 10,000, then you're eligible to be killed. And as you see, we're finding out how to die, pretty efficiently here in our first attempt. The abilities he has, besides the Finkle's thing, he has 3 abilities. 1, 2, 3. No, he has 4 abilities. Excuse me. The first one's called Caustic Slime. It's a meteor attack, so you need to group up for it. But it's a little more complicated than that. It hits for about 300,000, and it puts a debuff on you that reduces your chance to hit by about 75% for like 3 seconds. If everyone groups up, every time he casts it, everyone gets the hit debuff, and your DPS goes to the floor. For that reason, you have to stay spread out to make sure that only one person at a time gets a debuff. Now, it hits you for 300,000, right? Well, the Finkle's mixture saves you. There's a little robot going there, by the way, right in front of your screen. The Finkle's mixture saves you from death, and it reduces you to 1 health. The same thing goes for his next ability, Massacre. This hits the whole raid for about 1 million damage. Again, it reduces everyone to 1 health. The key is to make sure that your players have over 10,000 health before they get hit by the Caustic Slime and before they get hit by the Massacre. 10,000 health for everyone except the tanks is the same as 100%. If you have 10,001 health, then nothing he can do to you can kill you. He has no other source of AoE damage. He doesn't breathe, he doesn't cleave, he doesn't tail swipe, none of that. The last 2 abilities are Break and Double Attack, but I'll be getting them in a minute. I want to go over the strategies to deal with the Slime and the Massacre first. Every so often, the boss will go and he'll knock the bot offline and you'll lose the Finkle's mixture. That means you're now killable, and the Caustic Slime will instant one-shot people. That's why we're grouped up here. It's to spread, remember the Caustic Slime's a meteor attack, so we group up to spread the damage. Now, of course, you're going to get that hit debuff, which means while you're stacked up, you're doing like no damage whatsoever during feud, so that's too bad. Now, feud, what is that? That's just a little thing he does where his heads attack each other, and he stops attacking the tanks. It's pretty much giving you a break on the damage on the tanks, because it would be absolutely unsurvivable without Finkle's mixture. There's absolutely no way the tanks would survive without it. Now, this fight is buggy, and I'm actually going to die in this next Massacre due to that bug. Occasionally, what happened was the bot would shut off when it's not supposed to, and everyone would die from Massacre. Now the bot will stay on, but you'll still die from Massacre. If you watch that a little more closely, the Massacre hit me for 1 million damage, even though I had 29,000 health. So that was obviously just a bug. So that part of the rotation is very, very simple. Very simple. I mean, that part is very easy to master. You shouldn't have any problems with that. The thing that makes this fight challenging is not the Massacre, it's not the bot, and it's not the Caustic Slime. Those are all easy to deal with, and other than bugs, we do a great job of dealing with that right away. What kept killing us was the other things, Break and Double Attack. Break is a very simple stacking debuff that increases physical damage taken by 25% per stack, and it stacks up pretty quickly, so you're going to get 4 stacks plus very quickly. Now, you're going to think, oh, well, I'm just going to have, the off-tank taunt, and that way we wait till Break falls off, then the main tank picks it back up, no problem, right? Well, no, it doesn't work like that. It gets applied every 10 to 15 seconds, but it has a 60-second duration. And once you have 2 stacks, it's not survivable. 2 stacks, you will get insta-gibbed by his double attack. So what's double attack, you ask? Well, he puts a buff up, and you can see it on your screen if you look very closely now. It looks like the old Devour icon from Warcraft 3, from Kodos. And what that does is on his next attack, he will instantly attack twice. If you have 2 stacks of Break, you're going to take 200,000 damage. The first hit's going to take you to 1 health. The second hit's going to kill you. Remember, Finkle's Mixture will save you if you're above 10,000, but once you get knocked down to 1, the next one will hit you. There's only about a 0.2 to 0.4 second delay between the hits, which is absolutely impossible to heal through, so don't even try it. In fact, what you have to do is you have to have the off-tank taunt to absorb the double attack. And I did this, and I absorbed lots of deaths. You saw I already used the Soul Stone, and now I'm going to use the Spirit, not Spirit Res, but what do you call it, Battle Res, in order to stay alive here. So I go ahead and get picked up, and get right back to tanking, and get right back to soaking those double attacks. Now I want to talk a little bit about class balance on this fight, or more like class imbalance on the tanks. The Death Knight's Blood Shield is massively overpowered right now. It's actually absorbing about 90k damage, and it makes the double attack survivable. And we found out through trial and error that our Death Knight tank was able to survive a long time against this boss. Not forever. Eventually, the damage would get too high, and even his absorb shield wouldn't save him. He'd get hit for like 300k, absorb almost, half of it, and then he would still take enough to get knocked down to 1, and then the second attack from double attack would give him right away. So that became too much. However, our thinking was that the Death Knight, because he was able to absorb so much damage, would be best used with Break. In other words, he was used as the main tank, and he would absorb all the hits and can't stay alive forever. Then I would keep my health at full and taunt to absorb the double attack, thinking that with no breaks I should be fine, right? Well, at the moment, double attack is badly overtuned. It does too much damage. There's no other way to put it. On this tank, now right now I don't have any buffs, so my health's low, but even with 150k health, I would get hit for like 145k. This is with like armor made of gems and armor cape enchants and all this crap. I get hit for 145k, I get knocked down, and yes, I am in 346 gear, fully decked out. Knocked down to 5,000 health, and then the second hit would kill me. And you can't heal through that, of course. Now, I also ran this on a Feral Druid, and you'll see that on the next wipe. But the bottom line is that a prot warrior and a Feral Druid, and most likely a prot paladin, have no way to survive that. I mean, you couldn't time your Word of Glory in there. I even tried timing Hellstones and stuff like that, and you just can't do it. It's too fast. Even if you know it's coming, you can't do it. Now, this attempt went very, very well with the setup. However, the DK went offline, lost his internet connection or something. I didn't follow up later to find out what happened, but either way, he's offline, and that actually caused this to wipe, which is too bad because it was going pretty well anyway. It did take multiple reses and a lot of luck to survive this, but we made it through it. Now, sometimes it was surviving because on the double attack, I would dodge, I would parry. I just double parried a double attack. Can you believe that? That's incredibly lucky. But our strategy was still flawed. We had to make a final adjustment before we finally got it. Now here you can see I've got 4 breaks, which means I'm getting hit for 186,000 damage a hit. That's on a weak hit, and it does hit for a lot more than that sometimes. You'll get hit with 4 breaks, you'll get hit for 288, 300,000 damage sometimes. That was probably a block, as a matter of fact. That seems pretty low. Now at this point we tried to do a hand of protection to get the breaks to fall off, but it didn't work. That's okay though. It was, nice try. It's very annoying how you can't do any DPS during feud because of the miss. As you can see, everything just miss because of the feud, and that's very obnoxious. But that's part of the design. That's why he only has 26k health. For a boss, you essentially stand there and shoot all the time, whereas most bosses like that don't have about 32 million in kata. So here I am continuing to solo tank until I just eventually drop from having breakup and not being able to eat another double attack. Things go very well, and then we get him into the final phase. Now when he hits 20%, he goes into an enrage, and he's going to be there in about another 1,000,000 damage or so. When he goes into the enrage, he puts up a debuff called Mortality. Mortality reduces all healing done and received by 99%. Basically, it means that healing has to stop completely, and you have to zerg him down from there. And there you can see it on my debuff list, the little red devil icon, that's the debuff. Now it also makes him untauntable, so you can't cheese the fight. It also makes him stop using his abilities, Massacre and Caustic Slime. He only does attack and double attack. And lastly, it makes him take 20% extra damage, so it's a Zerg phase. It's kill him before he kills you. Now unfortunately he chose to kill our healers last, so we couldn't finish him this time. But I fully believe that had the DK lived, he would have been able to eat enough of the damage that we would have both been alive for this phase, and we might have even killed him this time. So it was pretty close. So let's jump into the next attempt with the druid. We finished up for the night and decided to pick it up the next day. Unfortunately, the raids are being left open for a long time, so we're able to do that. But anyway, so I jumped on my druid. You notice I have 149k health, and I have that amount for each attempt. But I was still getting insta-gibbed by the... Yeah, there it comes. I got hit for 144 and taken down to about 6k or 5k or whatever, and then the next hit instantly killed me. So we are going to go ahead and battle res and try this over again, but we also lost a priest, so that did it right there. I'm not sure what happened there, but that's okay. Anyway, so we're going to group up for feud as usual. Remember, we're grouping up because of the meteor attack. That's the simple part of the fight, right? And then we're going to spread back out after feud finishes. And of course you have to move away because of the hit debuff. If everyone's stacked, although everyone will be absorbing the caustic slime and splitting the damage, they will also be taking that debuff and you'll do no DPS. So, anyway. If you're curious about why we picked a feral druid, the reason I decided a feral druid might work out, and this is just our thinking, is that I had a little bit of extra health, and I thought that would just put me over just enough, and I was hoping that savage defense would make a difference. Problem is, savage defense has been nerfed recently. Although it's still very good over long fights, it doesn't really do anything for this. It's not a good enough spike preventer. So yeah, there you go. Boom, there I am dead again. Amazing, right? So it's not a good enough preventer of spike damage. It doesn't work the way we want it to, and it's not on command. You can't control it. So after all these wipes, we finally wised up and realized that the solution is to have the Death Knight do the off-tanking. The reason we didn't do this right away, we thought that the damage coming in with break stacks was going to be too much for me to handle on the Feral Druid. But the truth is that it doesn't matter how much damage you take as long as you get healed up to 10,000 for the next hit. And as long as you don't take the double hits, then you're never going to die. So what we do is basically I take a hit. I might get hit for 400,000. And honestly, you're going to see hits like that. And it'll knock me down to 1 health, but then I'll be able to get a heal up to survive it. The only thing that matters with the double tag is making sure that the off tank is someone who can take both hits. That's got to be a Death Knight, and that's it. That's the only class that can survive it right now. Yeah, a Shield Wall Warrior can do it, but how often does Shield Wall up? And he double attacks constantly, so that's just not an option. So this one winds up with a wipe due to attrition. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Let's just skip on to the next one. Now, as you see, we got him down low. We got him down to about 8 million. It's amazing. So this is obviously a very good attempt, and everything's going very smoothly. I have 4 stacks of break. I'm getting hit for 389,000. That number just flashed on the screen for a second there. And the tank is very dutifully taunting off. Every time the tank taunts, I announce it over vent. Every time I taunt back, I announce that over vent as well. That makes it easy for the healers to track it and figure out what's going on. And every hit takes me down to 1 health, so they got to heal me up very well. But mainly the D-gate tank, the off tank, is the one who has to really get healed up. He's the one that the whole fight hinges on. Because if he goes down, I've got 4 stacks of break, and the next double attack is going to give me instantly, as you've seen, you know, a whole bunch of times. And believe me, I've edited out many other wipes that were just like walk in, take a double attack, and die. That's how powerful it is. Okay, we just moved into the mortality phase. This is the last phase. He immediately killed me because I couldn't get a heal, but that's okay. We got far enough. Now, this is our final attempt. We decided to call it after this one. So here he goes, under 4 million. He's 3.5 million. DK is staying up for a long time, as DKs tend to do. Even though his blood shield is not going to work very well because of the way it works off of Death Strike. He seems to be getting health anyway, so maybe it does work off of Death Strike. I should ask him about that. But anyway, there he goes. He finally bit it, and then the boss is going to switch over to the DPS and start one-shotting them one by one. But oh, he's down to 1 million health. It's so close. Is this going to be a 1% wipe? Oh, he's got only a couple people up. The mage is going down. 400k, 300k, 200. Oh, we got him. Yep, there we go. I didn't want to spoil it, so I tried not to give it away earlier in the video. But yes, we did kill him. Thank God. We spent so much time on this freaking guy, and I was so glad to finally take him down. It was very satisfying. This is one of my favorite kills. And I got loot. I got loot. Look at that. Leather, druid. I got druid gear. I got epic gear. This is my first drop in Cataclysm. I'm so happy about it. But Of course, it's going to be gone once the game goes live, but it doesn't matter. My first epic loot in Cataclysm. There you go. Caught on video for you. So that's Chimaeron. Very fun battle when it works. You know, I showed one buggy death. There was a lot of other ones. There's all kinds of buggy stuff that happens, but I'm sure it'll be sorted out by the time the game comes out, so don't worry about that. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As always, we're going to have more information if you click the link below in the description for our WoW Cataclysm-wiki site. And we've got the some nice pretty screenshots, and we've got the fright instructions in text form for you to refer to your guildmates. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, this is Crowmar with TGN asking you to please comment, please rate, and please subscribe.